I want to respond to a video by Isajensen while I draw her portrait.
Is depressed. Everyone has no job and everyone is living with their parents. That is where we are right now in society. And everyone is feeling so ashamed for saying that, for, owning that. Because if you're in your 20s, you're really struggling right now. You're doing everything that you can. You thought when you were younger that, okay,
Yeah, I can't really judge her. She says most people today are depressed, unemployed, anxious, and living with their parents. When I watched Isa Jensen's video, I couldn't judge anybody because honestly, I wasn't much better off when I was in my 20s. But two things happened that changed my life forever. I learned about service and responsibility. When I was 28 years old, I was living in Denver and in pretty bad shape. I had no job, no money, and no home of my own. I'd been discharged from the Army with PTSD and was drinking heavily to medicate myself. The only reason I wasn't sleeping on the street was because I was house sitting for a friend. At the time, I was going to a 12-step group with a lot of Vietnam and World War II veterans. One of the men there helped to get me my first job, probably the only job I could mentally handle at the time. It involved canvassing door to door for a home improvement company. It was probably the lowest job available. The problem was I was terrible at it. I wasn't a good salesman. One day, the contractor I worked for told me something that hurt my feelings but changed my life. He said, "Your problem is you're selfish and self-centered. If you stop thinking about yourself and start trying to help people, you might actually succeed. Otherwise, I'm going to have to fire you." I didn't want to hear that because I needed the money. So the next morning, I got up and decided I would try something different. Instead of worrying about myself all day, I'd focus on being useful. So I was walking down the street in my only shirt and tie when I saw a woman with a flat tire. I looked down at my clean clothes and had to make a decision. Was I going to protect my shirt or help this woman? I decided to help her. While I was changing the tire, a small group of men gathered around watching. After the woman drove away, one of them looked at my dirty shirt and asked what I was doing. I told him I worked for a home improvement company. He invited me into his house to wash my hands. While I was there, I ended up setting my first two appointments, one for him and one for his neighbor. Those appointments turned into sales, and for the first time in a long time, I got a decent paycheck. But more importantly, I learned something that changed my life. When I stopped obsessing about myself, miring in self-pity, and start trying to help other people, things begin to work out. That lesson stayed with me. No matter how bad life gets, no matter how depressed or afraid I become, I know I can get out of myself, try to help someone else, and move forward one step at a time. And if I do that, things will work out. It's never failed me, and today I lead a pretty successful life. Thank you.